Corporate America, as we used to know it, is coming to an end right in front of our eyes. Take a look at the numbers. Unemployment is falling. We have less than 4% unemployment, and the last time we saw 3.9% unemployment was back in 2018. So our unemployment numbers are what we were seeing before the pandemic, but we still have this issue of a labor shortage, even though unemployment is low. Supermarkets and grocery stores still have empty shelves, not just because of the supply chain issues, but because they can't find work. And it's not just supermarkets. Stores and restaurants like McDonald's and Starbucks and Chipotle, my extra guac, cannot even keep their stores open because they don't have people to work. There's a Wendy's restaurant a few miles from my house that had a sign saying that it can only be open between 12 o'clock noon until 2 p.m. because they don't have any other workers. They were only open 2 hours a day. At this point, you're probably scratching your head or your turban because you're wondering, wait, if people are going back to work and unemployment is falling, how is it that companies still don't have labor? Well, it's because of this thing called the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation is this mass movement of Americans voluntarily quitting their jobs, and now we're seeing Americans quit their jobs at the fastest rate ever. In November, we saw 4.5 million Americans voluntarily quit their jobs, and it's not just workers, it's also CEOs. CEOs are getting behind on this Great Resignation, and they're quitting their jobs too because they want more freedom. What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh, and because of the Great Resignation, I have decided to quit my job on YouTube. Actually, no, I really like my job on YouTube, so I will not be quitting, but let's take a minute and just really think about what's going on with this Great Resignation. We have 3.9% unemployment. We have a low unemployment number, and yet we still have companies around the country that are struggling to find workers to even just run their businesses. I mean, Chipotle cannot stay open because they don't have workers to feed people extra guac. Now, every part of this pandemic and this economic change has affected people in different ways. Like when the pandemic first hit and offices were forced to shut down and everybody was forced to work from home, it was pretty interesting because we told our employees here at Minority Mindset that, hey, go work from home for a couple weeks and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Well, 2 weeks went by and then we decided to continue working from home, and now we have this virtual first model where you don't have to come into the office, you can work from wherever you want. And so it really changed the way that we did work. But now, where companies don't have labor to produce their products, I go to the gym on Saturdays, I hit arms in the morning, I go to Chipotle for lunch, and it's closed. Now, this is gonna sound really weird, but the Great Resignation was really initiated by hate. People either hated their jobs, they hated their lifestyle, or they hated the culture at their work, which is causing them to quit. So I'm just gonna write this down here. So it was hate their job, hate the culture, or hate the lifestyle. It's abbreviated to L. This is what caused people to want to quit their jobs, because as we were going through this pandemic, people realized that, hey, I can work from home. You were working in a cubicle before and you were required to go into the office at 8:30 in the morning. You had to sit there until 5:30 p.m. and you had to make weird excuses to go to the bathroom, and then you come out of the bathroom 15 minutes later and you give everybody that awkward, hey, how's it going? When you go back to your desk, and you have to make up these random conversations to feel like you're actually talking to people. People didn't like that culture at their work, so they said, wait, I can work from home and I don't have to deal with any of that, and I can eat lunch whenever I want, and I can take a nap in the middle of my day if I wanted to, and I can start working earlier, or I can end my work later if I have to go to the gym in the middle, or I can get my car serviced and not have to talk to my boss and get that approved. People really liked the lifestyle, and they didn't like the culture of having to sit in a cubicle and having to have this fake personality. So because of that lifestyle and the culture, people said, well, now that your company, my company, is making me go back into work, why do I have to do that when I'm more productive at home? Now I want a job where I can work from home. And so a lot of people now, when they were being asked to go back in, said, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to live, let me start here. I want to be able to live anywhere that I want in the world. I don't want to have to come into a cubicle every single day and sit there for 9 hours and do nothing productive when I can just work from home and pick my own lifestyle. So people wanted their own lifestyle, so they started quitting their jobs to find some sort of career that aligns with the lifestyle. Then it was the culture. Obviously, we have this whole pandemic going on, and ever since the 2016 election, we've seen a lot of companies start to get more involved on the political side of things, and that really accelerated when the pandemic hit because some companies required masks, other companies required vaccines, other companies said, do whatever the heck you want. And so some people would say, I don't want to work for a company that requires me to get vaccinated, or I don't want to work for a company that requires me to wear a mask, or some people would say, I don't want to work for a company that doesn't make everybody wear a mask and get vaccinated. And so because of that, people have different beliefs, different morals, different cultures, and they started quitting their jobs. That way they could work for a company that aligns with their morals and also aligns with their goals in terms of culture. Because now, obviously, you have the whole pandemic stuff, but also people want to work for a company that more aligns with something that they like, that they enjoy. People will realize that, hey, I don't want to work for one of these big corporations that I don't agree with. I want to see what this company is doing for the world. I want to align my morals and my beliefs with the goals of the company. I want to do something that I can be proud of. People really started to become more aware of that during this great resignation. And then it also came down to hating their jobs. People during the pandemic had more time when they were at home because they weren't commuting. And some people started learning, and they started learning new skills. And they said, well, why don't I use this as an opportunity for me to do something that I actually care about? Because before, when people applied for a job, all they looked at was the paycheck. They didn't care about all this other stuff. Now people are looking at the culture, they look at the morals, they look at the lifestyle, but they're also looking at the pay and what they do. And now people have started to realize that, hey, life is short. Let me do something that I actually enjoy and that I care about. And a lot of people have gone back to school or have gotten certified or have tried to do something different because they hated their job. Maybe they're starting a side hustle or started their own business. We're seeing one of the biggest booms of entrepreneurship in the history of time, just because people have that ability now and they're realizing that they want to do something different. That's why this hate-fueled great resignation is changing corporate America for good. And it's funny that I say it's hate-fueled because I love this great resignation. I think it's great that people are finally starting to realize that, hey, I can do something that I love and I want to work for a company that I believe in the product and I want to do something that aligns with my lifestyle and my goals. That way you can live a more fulfilled life and not just be a zombie where you have to go to work for 8 or 9 hours and then come home and then start living your life. And then you can really start enjoying your life after you retire at 65 years old. Working that sort of lifestyle doesn't make any sense, especially in this digital world, which is why I love this great resignation and what it's doing. And it is also pushing a lot of people into entrepreneurship in one way or another. Almost half of all millennials have a side hustle right now. This might be something like driving for Uber or delivering groceries for Instacart or delivering food for Grubhub. We are moving towards more of this freelancer and side hustler culture where it has become normal for people to have some sort of side hustle. Partially because people hate their job or they hate their culture or they hate the lifestyle that the job gave them, but also because life is getting more expensive. We saw inflation at 7% in 2021, which means if your income isn't growing by 7%, well, that means you're becoming poorer each and every year. So when you got that 5% raise, well, you actually became 2% poorer. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I love seeing other people embrace this type of entrepreneurship because now you're creating your own income, you're creating your own lifestyle, you get to choose the way that you live your life. You can work 20 hours a day if you want, or you can work 4 hours a day if you really want to, and kind of pick the lifestyle that you want to live. But there are also a lot of growing pains that come with this type of side hustling because now you're going to have to be in charge of your own money. Because when you work a job, the first thing that happens is, well, you got to pay your taxes. The IRS is going to take their cut. When you don't work a job, when you're just side hustling, you get this check and you don't have this type of tax automatic withdrawals. Now you have to be in control of your money. And when you work a job, you also get health insurance through your job or your company. You might also get your 401k or other investment options. You don't get those same things when you're a side hustler. So you have to be a little bit more independent with your money, which is why it's so important that if you are a side hustler, that you're even smarter with your money because now you have to be in charge of your money. You get this money that hits your bank account. You need to know what to do with your taxes. You need to know what you should be investing. You need to know what you should be reinvesting back into your business. You need to know how you should be investing your money for your personal self because you have the business you, your side hustle, your business, and then you have the personal you. These are your personal investments, your stocks, your real estate, your crypto, whatever this might be to help build your personal wealth. Then you also have the business wealth. So you need to know how to separate these. That way you can build the most wealth for yourself and make sure you're using your money the right way because, well, there's a lot of times where side hustlers don't do that. The reason why I'm emphasizing this right now is because you have a lot of gig workers and freelancers that just don't file any taxes on the money that they make from their freelancing or their gig work because they think or assume that, well, I didn't make a ton of money, so I don't need to report this or file this money in taxes. I read one report that said that 65% of gig workers And freelancers haven't paid their taxes in 2 years from the income that they made from their side hustles. Now, I am an attorney. I'm not your attorney, but I am a licensed attorney. So let me just tell you this. If the IRS decides to audit you and they see that you haven't been paying your taxes, well, they can come after you for those back taxes and force you to pay them and make you pay penalties and fines on top of that. And I have seen people have to go into debt. They go and borrow money just to pay off their taxes. You don't want to run into that situation, so just start planning your finances earlier. Now, if you're looking for a solution to help you manage your money as a side hustler or a freelancer or a gig worker, you should check out our sponsor, Thrive. Thrive is a simple solution. It's a fintech solution to help you manage all of your money as a side hustler, a freelancer, a gig worker, because they will take care of all of these issues, all the financial issues at no cost to you. Thrive was created to solve all the problems that I just talked about, because when you're a freelancer, a gig worker, a side hustler, you don't get the benefits of an employee where now you can get your taxes automatically deducted, you can get your 401k, your money automatically invested, you can get health insurance, but with Thrive, you can get all those benefits of an employee while working as a side hustler or a freelancer or a gig worker. What Thrive does is it will give you a bank account and then it will automatically deduct money for your taxes, it will automatically file your taxes for you, it will automatically let you invest your money, and it'll give you the option to get health insurance, and it is completely free to you as the user. I like Thrive because their mission and their goal is to help the side hustler, the contractor, the freelancer, the 1099 worker thrive. That's why it's in their name. And they came to me, they're not launched yet, they came to me looking for some help. And so this is not a traditional sponsorship. I'm not getting paid money to talk about them. I'm an actual investor in the company. I own a piece of Thrive. My goal is really to help raise awareness for the company because this is a product that so many people need. We're going to be launching the app pretty soon here in 2022. And if you want to get all the benefits, you can join the waitlist. It's free to do that. All you got to do is enter in your email address. And if you join the waitlist, you have access to a whole bunch of perks. You can win things like pre-IPO stock in the actual Thrive company before they even go live. You can win MacBooks. You can win a whole bunch of other perks just for joining the waitlist. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. All you have to do is enter in your email address. So if you want to join the waitlist, it would mean a lot to me as we're trying to raise awareness for Thrive. So if you want to learn more and join the waitlist for Thrive, if you are a side hustler or a gig worker or a freelancer, I'll put the link to where you can do that in the description below. Corporate America is really struggling right now because, for one, they can't find good work. And when they do find work, people want more money. I mean, the cost of everything has gone up. The price of gas has gone up. The cost of my groceries have gone up. The cost of my vacations have gone up. The cost of everything has gone up. And along with that is wages. So people want more money. And so now a company that's trying to produce a product, if I'm trying to produce markers, well, I'm already having to pay more money for the plastic. I'm having to pay more money for the ink inside of the marker. And now I have to pay more money for the people to put the markers in a box and to pay the people to actually manufacture the markers. So now my costs as a company are going up. And now I'm struggling on top of that to find people to actually make the markers. And at the same time, this is like a lot of different layers. It's like an onion here. You have a lot of demand. People are buying things like crazy because they were able to get money either through stimulus, or they were able to refinance their home, or they were able to make money from somewhere. There's been a lot of places where people were able to make more money either from their investments, their home, or from their job, or from somewhere. They were able to make more money, and now they're buying things like markers. So I have a lot of demand of people wanting to buy my stuff, but I just don't have anything to sell them because I can't get work to produce it and I can't even source the materials. That was the issue that we saw for the whole second half of 2021. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a shift because now people are starting to run out of money. The prices of things have gone up significantly, and now people are not buying things and consuming things as they were before. Back in the middle part of 2021, prices of things kept going up. People kept saying, okay, oh well, I'll keep buying anyways. So people kept buying even though prices of things kept going up. But now we're starting to see a turning point where people are not spending as much money and the prices of things keep going up and people are saying, well, I can't afford to buy things anymore, so they're turning away. So we're seeing consumer spending slow down. That's not very good news in terms of the economy or this great resignation, because now, for the first time, we're starting to really see consumer spending slow, which means companies make less money. See, before, when the prices of things were going up and we had this labor shortage, it was okay because companies were just charging more money and people kept paying more money. And so companies were still making money, and so things kept functioning. But now, people are not working, which means companies are struggling producing products, and so companies are having to force their prices higher, but now people are not paying. which means now we're forced into this weird dilemma where now companies are making less money. We're starting to see this in the stock market. You've seen companies report not so great earnings, and so we've seen the stock market see a lot of volatility in the early part of 2022, and it doesn't look like that's going to be slowing down. Because if you are in an economy with high inflation and slow economic growth or economic decline, well, now you enter a period of stagflation where things get more expensive and people are making less money. That is a world where now you have two needles poking you from different ends of your body. I don't know if that analogy makes any sense, but you're getting poked both ways. The whole thought that your traditional economist had in 2021 was, yeah, we have this high unemployment, which is causing this labor shortage, which is causing all these problems, but eventually people are going to run out of money. The reason why people were not going back to work, the reason why we're seeing this great resignation, the reason why people are quitting their jobs is because they have money. They have savings, they have extra cash, and they were able to accumulate this in 2020 and 2021. So because of that, they're able to quit their jobs. And once people go back to work, well, then things will go back to normal. But here we are now in the early part of 2022. We have unemployment at below 4%. We have 3.9% unemployment, which is pretty close to where we were before the pandemic. So we have unemployment almost at where we were before the pandemic, but we had this labor shortage and we have the price of things spiraling upwards. The question that everyone's trying to figure out now is, how long is this going to last? The original question was why. We started to solve the question of why because people hated their job, they hated the culture, they hated the lifestyle that they were getting, and so now they quit their jobs and now they're looking for something else. But now people are going back to work. We're seeing the unemployment numbers go back down and people are starting to create their own work. And so what does that mean for the future of corporate America? Well, chances are you're not going to see the traditional office culture that we had before. I know companies are still trying to bring employees back to work. People who have been working from home or had the option to work from home for the last 2 years, you're still seeing a lot of companies say, okay, we're going to bring you back to the office mandatory like before. But then came this new variant and then they said, all right, we'll delay it another 6 months. But you're still seeing companies trying to move back to this old traditional model while people are saying, I don't want to do that. You've seen a lot of families across the United States either get used to this ability to work from home or they've adjusted their lifestyle where now they can work from home. Like one of my friends, he really got used to this work from home life where they just sold one of their cars. Now they only have one car. Him and his wife share one car now because nobody has to go into the office to work. And his company kept saying, you're going to come back to the office in January, you're going to come back to the office in January. And now came this new variant and now they're saying, come back to the office in June. And he doesn't think he's going to come back. And if they force him to come back, he's just going to quit and find another job. He's very smart, he's very talented, he's very hardworking, but he wants to have the flexibility to be able to live his life the way he wants. So on one end, you're going to see a complete shift in corporate culture. You're going to see a complete shift in office culture, at least traditional office culture. You're going to see that change, especially in the next 6 months, especially in the next year, in the next few years. You're going to see a big shift in the way that companies require people to come into the office, who has to come into the office, and what your office life is going to be. And then you're going to see a shift in the way that people are treated in the non-office life. Because when you look at the traditional labor jobs, things like McDonald's, things like Chipotle, you're going to see, one, a lot more automation because these companies can't keep raising the prices of their workers to infinity. I mean, there's going to be a cutoff where they're going to say, all right, well, it doesn't make sense for us to keep investing in more people and having to deal with all of that and all that extra headache and expense that comes with an employee, because it's not just the wages. Corporations have extra fees that you have to pay when you hire an employee. The corporation also has to pay their share of FICA taxes. They have to pay their share of taxes for the employee. They have to pay their share of unemployment taxes for the employee. So the corporation has a lot of extra costs when they have to hire a person and take care of that person. And so you're going to see a lot more automation in these companies in the next few years and then the next decade, because they're not going to want to have to keep raising the prices to combat that. And then you're also going to see a change in the places where you have to have people, where people are required. You're going to see a lot better treatment of people, at least I hope you will, because if you don't, then people are just going to quit. Because people are realizing that they have a lot more options now, a lot more freedom now. And because of things like Uber and Lyft and Grubhub and Instacart, people have the ability to pick their own lifestyle and work on their own hours. You have a lot of people that want to work more because of these apps. And so you're going to see a change in the workforce just because of that. And so this is also going to change which companies are able to thrive, because now if you are a company with the old traditional minded thinking, well, you're not going to be able to attract good talent or good labor anymore because you still have the old-minded thinking, and the other companies, the newer innovative companies, well, they're attracting people and they're taking care of their employees way better, so that's where people are going to want to go. See, before, the thing that differentiated a good company and a bad company was really the product that they created. If a company was moving onto the internet, well, you had a chance to survive. If your company did not move onto the internet and didn't digitize, well, you were going to fail. And now it's not just the product that you create, but also the treatment of your employees, because now we're seeing the trend where if you treat your employees like crap, people are going to leave and go somewhere else. If you don't treat your employees like crap, well, people are going to want to work for you. And if you treat your employees like crap, well, you're not going to be able to find more employees because people have options. People actually have options now, which is changing the workforce, it's changing the way people look at work, and it's changing the way that our whole economy is running. Inflation isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon, unlike what the Federal Reserve Bank says, and our economy isn't growing as fast as it was. Now, when you couple these two things together with the Great Resignation, what this means is, well, people are going to have a lot more power in their hands. So if you're a company watching this, it's about time for you to start really getting with the times, treating your people better, and giving people more flexibility. That way they can actually enjoy their work and enjoy the lifestyle. And if you are a newer side hustler watching this, just make sure that you are taking care of your personal finances and your side hustle's finances the right way, because now when you are earning your own income, it is up to you to make sure that you're taking care of your income and you're using your income the right way, meaning paying your taxes, investing your money, getting your insurance, and doing all that. Again, if you need some help, you can sign up for the Thrive waitlist for free. I got the link for you in the description, but you need to make sure that you're taking care of your money and you're looking at your money more than ever. What's up, everybody? If you want to continue building your financial education, I linked a relevant video here that I think you'll love, and as an added bonus, I have a free guide on how you can start generating passive income that you can download and read for free. All you gotta do is click that button below. So what is causing this inflation? Is it just low interest rates and the stimulus checks that the Fed sent out?
Well, inflation has one cause, and that is the central bank, because inflation literally means to expand the money supply. It's money supply that is being inflated. So that's where the word comes from.